6.5% is better than 2.99 if you want to gain equity faster and cost you less interest overall if you know what to do. Here's what we're going to see. I'm going to click on this history button so we can actually see how the loan is set up. On the very first payment on this loan, if you can see over here to the left, the amount of money that goes to principal is $213.25. Look at the amount that goes to interest, $2,637.92. Don, I thought I heard you say that the real estate investor was better off at 6.5%. Look at that interest payment. Look at the tiny amount that goes to principal. Look at the huge amount that goes to interest. How is that better? Here's why. Now, remember, I'm going to go back to the action plan right quick so that you can see it again. Here's what the program is asking them to do. Take $4,048.31 and place it on principal. So I want to show you basically how all of that looks. So $4,048. So I'm going to put a calculator on the screen so you can also see it. So we'll go back to accounts. All right. Go back down to mortgage number 9, and we're going to open it back up. All right. Open that back up, mortgage number 9, open it up and see $213.25. That's how the amortization schedule looks. So here's what you need to know. For every $213 or so, for every $200 or so, watch this, you're able to divide that $200 and some into the amount of money that we're going to prepay, the $4,000. So let me give you an idea of what's going on, all right, by doing just some simple math. We're going to round it off, all right? Let me put my calculator on the screen, and we're taking a look here. Watch this, watch this. So we're going to clear this out, and we're going to put about $4,000 on the screen, okay? And we're going to average this about $210. So we're going to divide it by an average of $210. It goes into there 19 times. So if we take the 19 times, okay? So we take 19 times. So that means you can knock off about 19 mortgage payments and the interest on those payments. So that's 19 times. So we're going to round this off to about $2,600. 19 times $2,600 comes out to about $49,000. Okay, so if we take the amount of principal that we're paying each month and divide it into the 4,000, I can take the small principal payment and divide it into the 4,000 many more times, because at the higher interest rate, the principal payment is smaller. Now, I know there's some people on there that say, Don, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. So let me tell you what our total payment is, okay? Our total payment on this loan is this, and I'm going to put it in an amortization schedule and show you so that you can actually see it. All right. So we have $2,851.17. So we're going to copy that. Okay. Copy that. And we're going to bring up an amortization schedule, and you'll be able to see it for yourself. So I'm going to bring up an amortization schedule, and our interest rate is 6.5%. So we're going to put in the payment amount. Okay, we're going to take this out, the principal payment, and we're going to put in 6.5% interest for 30 years. And then we're going to calculate that, and we'll see the amount of principal that we owe. $451,085. Okay, $451,085. So remember, I said we're going to put about $4,000 on this and prepay this thing and see how much we can do here. So we're going to do that. There it is. Okay, let me put in the right numbers. $487,000. Let me make sure that that's right. Okay, $487,000 at 6.5%. 6.5%, 30 years. Take that out. See what our payment is. There it is, $3,078.17. Okay. So we do that. That's what the payment is. So now when we take a look at the program was saying, I need you to go down and take a look at the summary. 487,000. Okay. Our interest only payment is 2,637.92. That's just the interest part. Okay. And I put the interest part in by itself. I'm sorry, folks. That was my mistake. So $3,078.17. All right. And then when we take a look at it, look at our principal payment. All right. And what we're going to do now is when we prepay about $4,000, okay, on this loan, we knock out a ton of interest. Look at that. Look at that. That's the real amount. Look at that. Can you imagine that? That kind of money prepaid. The bank wanted them to pay $23,000 to pay off $4,000. Isn't that crazy money? Crazy money. So folks, listen, and this is why the program chose this loan instead of another loan to put that kind of money on to save that kind of interest over time. Oh my goodness. And then once this loan is paid down, we're going to be attacking it every 2 or 3 or 4 months. When this loan is cheaper than the other loans, then the program is going to switch over and choose another loan instead. Instead of paying this one all the way down to zero, saying, well, this one's cheaper now. Let's go to the one that's more expensive now and save money and interest on that. Folks, let me tell you, if you want to know more about how to save money and interest and get equity much cheaper, okay, let me show you something. If this is how much interest principal they would pay down in 1 year on this loan, look at the amount of interest that the bank wants at 6.5%. 6.5%, $3,000 a month, only $400 payments going to principal, over $2,600 going in interest. Look at this. Okay, $31,494.71 going to interest in the first year, while only $5,443.33 goes to principal. If we prepay this instead, we save the interest payments. Our next mortgage payment is actually on line 13 of the schedule, just by paying what we would have paid in 1 year, taking it out of savings and applying it to the debt. If we prepay this, we knock off 1 year's worth of payments and save a boatload of interest we never have to pay the bank. That is the power of understanding interest cancellation. Now, if we could save, let's go back to the program. Let's go back to the program and look at action plan here. $487,000. Go back to the action plan. Look at this. If we could save $1,458,236 in interest, what could we do with that? We're supposed to be out of debt by doing this in 4042. If we have principal remaining, years to pay off, okay, we got 20 years, we got 30 years. All right, we're supposed to be out of debt in 30 years. That would be 30 plus 22, that's 2052. Okay, 2052. Let me show you something that what could happen. Let's go into the reports and see how much interest we're saving. We're going to go into net worth, and we're going to go down into the reports and see interest earned, wealth accumulation. We're going to take a look at wealth accumulation and go down to 2052. 2052, when the bank wanted them to be paid off. I need you to see this right now. 2052, when they were supposed to be paid off according to the bank. If they follow this program and pay off that loan early and save all of that interest, money, they can turn it into $3 million. And this is at a 1%. Watch this now. 1% earnings on their money. Take that money, and by giving that money to the bank, they're robbing themselves of $3 million at the time they would have paid off. But what if they keep this? So let's go ahead and pay this off over 30 years, add another 30 years to it. This is what most people would be losing if they keep the loan for entire 30 years. Watch this. They keep the loan for entire 30 years. So at 2052, that would take it to 2082. Oh, we can't go that far. I can only go to 2072. $14 million. $14 million they'll be able to amass by not giving money to the bank. So it's not the extra money we're giving to the bank that's a problem, folks. It's the money that money can never make for you if we're giving it to the bank.